Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faris bin Abdul Manap. So today I would like to present in the Icaes2024 which paper ID number 8 of my topic entitled Comparative Analysis of Square and Spiral Thread Design in Dental Implant, Stress Deformation and Bone Contact Pressure. So this is the main title for my presentation for today. My content list I divided into 5 parts, which is the first one is about the introduction of the background study, and the second part is about the types of dental implant, the types and factor, and also the performance of the dental implant. And the third part is the methodology, about the simulation setup, how we are going to run for this implant simulation. And the fourth is the result evaluation of the dental implant in terms of the mechanical properties. And the last part is the conclusion, which is about the key finding and also about the future works that we are planning, which is about the background, why we are going for this study about the comparative analysis. The importance of the dental implant is quite important lah, if you look into the work that we have done. There are so many things that we need to consider when we have a missing tooth. So in this problem statement, you can see that we need to evaluate the mechanical performance at a different thread design of that dental implant. And last but not least, which is about the objective, what we are planning to do is to study 3 main things, which is about the von Mises stress, total deformation, and also the contact pressure between the 2 main things of that thread design, which is square and spiral thread using the finite element. Basically, we have 2 types of dental implant. The first one is the endostale implant, which surgical that insert into the jawbone. Okay, we put in the jawbone by inside it. And the second one is the subperiosteal implant, which is placed on or above the jawbone. In dental implant, we have so many thread design. Okay, the common thread type, which is the V thread, square thread, buttress thread, and also spiral thread. But for our study, we are going to compare between the 2 things only, which is about the spiral and also the square thread. You can see that at the end of the slide in here, we can see that we are the component of the dental implant, which consists of 3 main parts, which is the crown, abutment, and also the screw. So our study focus only 2 things, which is the spiral and also the square implant. Into the next part, we can see about the factor influencing the implant success. We can see that in terms of mechanical properties, the ability of the implant to handle the biting forces and transfer them into the surrounding tissue. We don't want that any things that will cause the implant failure due to bone resorption. And failure cause basically mostly due to the infection, heavy loading, or you bite too much, and poor stability during the implant process, and also because of the poor implant design. So implant design is quite important if you want to put the implant into our teeth. In my study here, okay, we are using 3 main software. The first one is the SolidWorks. SolidWorks is used for the modeling, for the design of the implant, the 3 main components. And then we use Altair Inspire Studio for the refinement for that design. And last, we are using ANSYS Workbench for the simulation work. So the model parameters, we only put all the main component, which is the crown, screw implant, abutment, and also the jawbone. So the jawbone also included during our study. So loading condition, we took 3 main loading condition, which is 1000 Newton, 1500 Newton, and also 2000 Newton. This is based on the previous study when we compared with the previous researchers that put many loading conditions. Use material, use ceramic, zirconia, metal, and also titanium. So the properties that we put in the simulation in finite element, we use Young modulus, Poisson ratio, and also the density. All of this figure and the value is provided in the paper. So you may refer to my paper for the details of the values. So the model dimension, basically we have a diameter of 6.2 millimeter, and also the length for the implant is about 10 millimeter. So the loading condition, you may refer to the figure shown here. A for the force direction and B for the... And into the next part, which is about the result and discussion, you can see that we divide it into 3 parts, which is the von Mises stress, total deformation, and also the last part, which is about the contact pressure between the bone. So the result I put here is just a simplified version. You may refer to the details, all the values in my paper. So basically, the conclusion from the von Mises stress, you can see between the square and spiral versus spiral implant. The comparison from the observation, you can see the square thread implant exhibit the lower von Mises stress compared to spiral thread design. This is based on the many implant. The total deformation, you can see that the deformation under load between the square thread implant show less deformation than the spiral thread design. The conclusion here, you can see that the square thread design is more effective at resisting deformation. The bone contact pressure from the evaluation that we run into the finite element analysis. The analysis of the contact pressure we must see between the bone and the implant. The results show that the square thread implant demonstrate lower bone contact pressure. You can see from the figure here, you can see that the maximum and minimum probe between the square and also the spiral thread design. So they are very different. Also the value also different, and you may see the details on the value in my paper. Basically, also what we intend to do here, we want to compare between the square and the spiral thread design, how the effectiveness compare between these two only parameters. So in this conclusion, we can find a key important value, that is that the square thread design perform better in terms of stress distribution, deformation resistance, and also the bone contact pressure. So in the implication from here, so we have a potential for improved implant design to reduce failure rate and also to enhance patient outcome. So they don't need to revision for the teeth implant. Last but not least, in the future work, what our team planning to do is we want to expand our studies to include the more thread design on also on the real world clinical data. And also the last part is we want to optimize the implant to develop the optimized implant design based on this finding. So we may reduce the amount of the cost effectiveness, and also to avoid any bone resorption or any issue that related to the teeth implant. So this is our future plan. But for now, we are just compare between the spiral and square. We can see that the square performing better. We want to make the presentation quite short and concise, so you all can understand what we are planning to do. If you have any question or Q&A, you may directly contact to my email here, or you may find me at UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. And any works that any publication that I've done, you may refer also to my Google Scholar here, the link. And you may contact also me and the office phone number. I think that's all for my presentation for the Icaes 2024. Thank you for your time to look into my presentation. Hopefully that you may get certain information that you may pursue for your study or anything that related to your life. And I think that's all from me. Thank you very much.